you all for being here tonight. We proceed our council meetings with a prayer and pledge of allegiance. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to. Father in heaven, we bow humbly into your presence, Lord, acknowledging you as Lord and Creator. We thank you, Lord, for the positions that you've allowed us to fill on this council. We pray, Lord, that you would bless our endeavor tonight and help us make the right choices. These things we pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call this meeting to order. Mr. Garrett, would you please call the roll?
Sir, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Hawkins?
Here.
Mr. Grimes?
Here.
Mr. Pruitt?
Here.
Miss Mel?
Here.
Mr. Ledbetter? Here. Miss Smith?
Here.
Miss Isby?
Here.
You should have received copies of the January 24th council minutes. Are there any corrections or changes?
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Let's see, first we have one of our standing committees. We'll start tonight with a public hearing. We're looking at discussing the closing of a portion of a utility drainage easement located on Lot 17 of the Princeton Village PUD. I will declare this public hearing open, and if anyone speaks for or against this, would you please state your name and your address for the record, please?
My name is Joe Dablock. My address is 1155 Crimson Clover. I'm interested in this. It is not my property. I have asked that it be removed by the property owner, who is Keller Johnson. And I see that he has not been able to attend tonight. And I have asked that it be removed because at that location, there is 60 foot of drainage and utilities easements side by side on the lots where there's only a driveway. There's a total of 60 foot. And because of the width of it, the utilities are all in place, the drainage is all in place, and it's a dead-end street, a driveway. It's not even a street, it's a private drive. And to get the proper width on the property for me to build a home there of any size, I have asked that it be removed. Just in conversation with various employees, they have agreed to removing 10 foot of this, which would be fine. And that's what it all is. I've spoke with the young man back here. He's familiar with what I'm speaking of. And I don't know if I have the authority to speak about it since it's not my property, but I am the one wanting to purchase the property, but don't wish to purchase unless the easement can be removed. Any questions for me?
Is that middle street that runs in the middle of that subdivision, that little short street?
No, as you turn in, it's lot 17, and it backs up against the Centennial Creek. That lot does. When you go in there, there's two-story
Right,
houses there
to
on
the
the
left.
left, and then it's where the driveway is that dead ends right there. And it's lot 17, and I could show you on my cell phone. I don't have a pad or anything with me. But, so there is no other, there's no one other than that lot involved
Right.
with what I'm asking. And yet, and Conway Corp has their sewer line, all utilities are in place for the subdivision, to my knowledge. And yet there's 20 foot on the lot to the left, a 20 foot where the driveway is, and a 20 foot on the lot where I am on the right. So it's 60 foot of easements through there that when they don't go nowhere, I mean, there's no other future expansion. The floodplain is right behind it, Centennial Creek.
Right.
There's nothing else for it to go to, or, to be there. So that's what I'm asking as a potential property owner. And any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Dablock. Anyone else like to speak for or against this? Mr. Vincent, you're okay with this?
I'll just clarify, I think the ordinance says it appropriately. I need to maintain the northern 10-foot of the 20-foot easement, and I'm okay with vacating the southern 10-foot.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. I will declare this public hearing closed. We have an ordinance before us to close a portion of a utility drainage easement located on lot 17 of the Princeton Village PUD.
I'll make a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the 3 readings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
I make a motion for the adoption of the ordinance.
7. Second.
We have a
And
motion.
that ordinance number,
Would be 01715.
thank you.
We have a motion and a second and a number. Mr. Garrett, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Pruitt? Aye. Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
That passes 8-0. Mr. Hawkins, it is your turn to step up.
Mr. Mayor, the first item is a resolution to set a public hearing to discuss closing of a utility easement on Lot 2 of the Axiom Commercial Addition. And we have a resolution to be read for this item. It's Resolution R-17, number 4.
Make a motion for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-0.
This is to set a date of the 28th of February at 6:30, Mr. Mayor. That's the date and time for the public hearing.
Okay. We have a motion? I'm sorry, we've already set that. All right. February 28th, 2017, 6:30 PM. All right. Passes 8-0. Mr. Hawkins.
To
Did
vote.
we vote?
All in favor?
I thought,
We did.
We just had a-
We did, and we all said yes.
yes.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I was like Ms. Isby. Next item is a resolution setting a public hearing to discuss the renaming of a portion of 8th Avenue to be renamed Central Landing Boulevard. We have a resolution to be read for this item. It's Resolution R-17-5.
Make a motion for the adoption of the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 8-0. What was the resolution?
R-1715.
Yeah, 17.
Number 5. Next item, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution requesting that the Faulkner County Tax Collector place a lien on property at 3290 Stone Road as a result of incurred expenses by the city. The expenses on this one are a little bit higher than expenses we normally see, but there was a lot more work that was done in association with this.
This required demolition on this one.
It did. Is there a representative of the property located at 3290 Stone Road that would like to speak to this particular item? Mr. Mayor, I don't see anyone, so Resolution R-1705 is the resolution.
Oh, 6.
I make
Six,
a
I'm
motion
sorry.
for the adoption.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is consideration to approve a change order number 2 for the Sieben Morgan Half Road Improvement for the Community Development Department. And Mr. Grummer, are you here? Yes, you are. Can you tell us about this, please, sir?
This is a second change order on the project. The first change order was a culvert size increase based on engineering recommendations based on flow that we made on the project. This one was manhole conflicts that we had that because this is a multi-year project, when we started it out, we had the designs done in 2015, both on the Sieben Morgan Half Road improvement as well as on the utility improvements. Because of trying to meet timeliness with CDBG spend down. The construction on the utility happened in 2015, and the half road improvements happening right now. So it's kind of a long story, but basically with all the activity that happened, there was changes in the utility improvements that did not get transitioned to the half road improvement. So there became conflicts with those manholes that when the utilities were done, showed up whenever the construction on the half road happened. So it was one of those things where we tried to speed up the process to try to meet CDBG spend down, and just so now we've got to lower 2 manholes and increase 1, so that because the transitions of the sidewalks to the street are basically in conflict with having a smooth right-of-way on the sidewalk.
Well, I want to tell you, man, you got it looking good over there, and I commend you for what you've done. It really is. You had a good vision, man. It's come a long way.
It's been a long run. I'm glad to see it finally happening. That's the main
It's
thing.
getting there, though, man.
Yeah, so, and we're actually coordinating contracts right now with the cottage project, so hopefully we'll have those finalized within the next month and see some housing going up this year, and so.
I'd make a motion to approve this change order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve this change order. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Thank you, Mr. Grummer. I'd like to thank Mr. Grummer for, he's really been helping me learn about this process too. Thank you so much, Scott. And Kiara, would you stand up? This is Kiara, and I'm going to let her pronounce her last name. She is our new CDB director, and she's been working with Scott.
It's what?
What is it again?
Oluwakin.
I still call her Esther.
Yeah.
That's-
It's spelled okay.
But thank you both. Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution to amend the master street plan to remove a proposed collector street northwest of the intersection of Meadow Lake and Salem. And Mr. Vinson, you are in attendance. Does someone else want to talk about this? Brian, you want to take this? Okay. I'll let you have it.
Basically, back in, well, let me look at my memo, I don't want to lie about the dates. 2008, I lose track of time. In 2008, we took a look at this area as part of the Old Morrison Highway specific plan study. And at that time, we placed a street, and you can see it there on the bottom of the resolution, the little inset of the map, cutting from Meadow Lake, or approximately Meadow Lake in Salem, over and across up to Miller's View. It seemed like a good idea at the time on the map, but there's one of the biggest hurdles about that, well, two. Number one is it's very steep terrain to get up in that fashion. And then another is that it crosses the railroad tunnel, which is a tunnel, but the railroad owns from the dirt to the core of the earth to the sky to Mars, basically. So it's very unlikely that they'd want to participate in us crossing over their world. So with that in mind and development that's looking at that property right now, we would like to remove this proposed street from the master street plan so that it doesn't impair the development that's being looked at there. And based on the impracticality of it, it seems to make sense at this point in time. And we're going to be looking at our master street plan in more in depth real soon. Y'all will be seeing a lot of changes on that, I think, because we really need to update it. And we started meeting with the engineering department and others, and we're really going to start digging into that. So this is just kind of the first of many changes to come, I believe, to our master street plan in the near future. And it'll be for the good because it's been needing updating, because 2004 was the last time we really took a hardcore look at it. We've added things here and there as we've gone along. But as a comprehensive look at it, we really need to dig into it some more. And like I say, this is just kind of one of many things coming to try to make it make a little more sense with the way things have developed out there in the since 2004.
I make a motion for adoption of this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This will be R-1707.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-0. Mr. Hawkins?
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is consideration to approve a conditional use permit for Mount Carmel Community to allow a nursing home at property at 2505 Salem Road in an A1 zoning district. This was reviewed by the Planning Commission at their regular meeting January 17th of 2017, and at that time, the commission voted 9-1 to send this to City Council with a recommendation of approval with some conditions. One is the right-of-way dedication at the intersection is to be used for a roundabout per city engineer specifications. The proposed development shall be generally constructed as presented. Single ownership of all property and structures is required, and the right-of-way from roundabout to access residual Irby property to the south and west per city engineer specifications shall be dedicated during the plating and development review. And with those conditions, I move that we grant that conditional use permit.
Second. Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted, number 4, that pertains to the thing we just talked about, the master street plan revision, and that's not desirable anymore, so I would recommend
Strike it.
we need to get rid of number 4, basically. All the other 3, I believe, are fine, and unless the applicant developers have any problem. With the other 3, I don't think they do. They can speak on that, but 4 needs to go away based on that resolution we just passed.
So we have been able to work that out to your satisfaction and to
Well,
our
Mr.
satisfaction.
Mr. Irby's satisfaction is much or
yes.
more than ours.
Very good.
But I'm Jimmy Elrod at Mount Carmel Community. I've been here a couple, 3 months now. But, I think he said it all and clarified it. I want to still clarify, pet peeve of mine, it's not a nursing home.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
It's senior living community, independent garden homes, assisted living, and memory care. So, but yes, sir, I think all those issues have been clarified. If he's happy, we're
I'll
happy.
clarify that real quick. Our ordinance is still based in the 1960s in a lot of ways. It hasn't caught up to 2017, so we still have nursing homes to classification as best fits them. But
Sure.
nonetheless,
No
I
problem.
understand it's not.
Let's get that,
Just wanted to
let's get that
clarify.
cleaned up if we could, Mr. Patrick.
We need to.
Thank you.
I do have one question, Brian, or number 3, single ownership of all property and structures is required. Where did that come about?
It was mainly because when you look at the development that they're proposing, it's a lot of single-family homes, more or less. You know, they're cottages that all under their ownership, all under their control. So, to make it fit more in with the, not nursing home, but assisted living model, that kind of thing. Community, it's a community. So, it doesn't really need to be split up into lots at some point in time because it's private drives, the way it's being served, it's being done with the conditional use permit. We only allow a single-family home to be sold with a fee simple lot and that kind of thing, unless it's on a built public street or part of a PUD or multifamily, and this really isn't any of those. So that's where it comes from, is trying to keep it all unified into one unit as an assisted living community and not have the option to split off parcels here and there in the future because
Gotcha.
it's not really built for that.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Andy, did you amend your motion?
I did not, but I will. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Garrett, what resolution will this be?
It's not gonna be a resolution, it's gonna be a conditional use permit. And we have a motion and a second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-0. Thank you. Mr. Hawkins.
Next item, Mr. Mayor, is a resolution expressing the willingness of the city to accept portions of the I-40 frontage road system into the street system, and this is from the Arkansas State Highway and Transportation Department. We have a resolution to read for this item. It's Resolution R-1708.
Make a motion for the adoption of the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Garrett, resolution number, please.
The R-1708.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 8-0. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins.
Yes, sir.
Our next is ordinance authorizing the reclassification of positions within the street and engineering department. Mr. Vincent.
It's 16, because we've only had one ordinance.
Ms. Bailey.
My understanding from Finley, is these two positions were approved in the 2016 budget and the 2017 budget.
They were in the 17 budget. They were proposed in the 16 budget. but they weren't.
Okay. They were approved in the 2017 budget, but we wanted it to come before council, so y'all knew exactly what we were doing with these positions. And I'm here to answer any questions you might have on them.
I'll start it off making a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to waive the 3 readings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
I make a motion for adoption.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Emergency.
And the emergency clause as well. Thank you.
All right. No further discussion. Mr. Garrett, ordinance number?
Be 01716.
16.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
No, it was included.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Mayor Williams. And the last item on the agenda tonight, I'll do my best to explain this. I'm not going to fill the vice mayor's position. It had a salary of $60,000. What I would like to do is create a position of purchasing manager within the city. We did a Jessup study on this, and the salary for a city of our size, comparable salary, is $67,186. So I would like to add $7,186 to that, move it from Mr. Winningham's office into administration. This person will be in charge of RFQs, researching warranties. They're gonna buy when I've talked about it to everyone, I've said they're gonna buy everything from fire trucks to toilet paper. And I really think that this position will save us some money as a city.
Mr. Winningham, you gonna come back to us in a month and need some more people? You're okay with losing a person? Thank you. Thank you.
Actually, some of the duties that the finance department does now is gonna go with this position as far as monitoring and approving purchase orders. So I think we should be fine.
Okay, very good. And what is our range on this particular position?
The range,
Pay range?
we have a set rate for the position. There's one rate for the position.
Okay. And that's from the Jessup study?
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
I'll make a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
We have a motion to waive 3 readings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Make a
Move for
motion
adoption of the ordinance.
Thank you, Terry.
We have a motion and a second.
An emergency clause.
Emergency clause, any further discussion? Mr. Garrett's ordinance number, please.
01717.
Call roll, please.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Here.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
It's gonna be 7, 0, and 1 here.
Okay. Passes 7-0 with 1 here. All right, the second position I'm asking for is a grants writer. And the salary for this
Mayor,
position.
excuse me.
I'm sorry.
We need the roll called on the emergency
Sorry?
clause as well.
I thought that was included with the motion.
Okay.
Whatever you think, sir. You're the
Yeah,
man.
it was included in the motion.
Okay.
Don't you have to vote separately on the emergency?
That's what we've done typically.
Well, and I asked that on the last one, and
I'll be glad to.
I can do it either way you want.
I'll be glad to.
When you get to me.
Ms. Smith?
We have an attorney here.
Roll call it.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt? Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Mr. Hawkins?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Ledbetter?
Yes.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
in the
Did
second.
we just approve both positions by voting on the ordinance?
I was about to say
Yeah,
that
that
it's
was the
listed, both are listed in the same
Yeah,
ordinance.
they're both in
Yeah,
there.
you can explain it now after the fact.
Okay, I'll explain it now. All right, I'm asking for a grants writer's position. We did research with the Jessup study on this. For a city our size, it pays $50,000 annually. The, Jamie, moving from finance, will create an opening in that office, will leave a salary of $41,210. I'm asking to add $8,790 to this position and also move it under administration. There are a number of federal grants that are out there that we as a city should be applying for, and we need someone who will research these grants and follow them out from beginning to closing. I really do believe that we can gain some from this.
Have we advertised this at this point?
No, sir.
This could be a fabulous ad to our people. This could be, they could turn up a lot of money for us.
I think so, too.
And, Mr. Mayor, I think we also talked about the fact that it would take some of the pressure off the departments that are having to write grants.
Yes.
Because this could all be centralized, kind of as similar to what you've done with purchasing.
It's, I got on, and did just a little surfing the other day on grants that are available to cities. It's quite phenomenal. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, just to be safe, we might should go back to that 01716 and do a,
I'd ask Chuck that, too. Yeah, let's back up to the.
all right, so I'll do the, I'll call the roll for the emergency cause. Mr. Ledbetter? Yes. Ms. Isby?
Yes.
Ms. Mel?
Aye.
Mr. Grimes?
Aye.
Mr. Hawkins?
Is this the emergency clause?
This is
For the
emergency clause
previous
on the previous one.
Thank you, yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Pruitt?
Aye.
Mr. Jones? All right,
Okay, now we'll come back to the grants writer. Any further discussion?
that one passed in the ordinance that we already called.
Okay.
No.
They were combined in, weren't they not?
They were all combined in that 1717.
Yeah, so that one ordinance passed both of those.
So we're past over. I guess I need to ask everybody, do you have a problem with it, since I jumped ahead there?
Tyler, what's
No.
the rough amount of grants that we currently take in, I guess, from the city?
It's gone down significantly since we wrapped up the airport, but it's, federal grant wise, it's it's less than $1 million now. You know, CDBG accounts for the bulk of it, 300,000 to 400,000, and then we've got everything under that comes in and adds up to close to $1 million.
Okay.
And, you know, like the mayor said, there's a lot more out there that we could go after.
It's kind of funny that we haven't had someone do this
Mhm.
before. $1 million bucks.
I'm letting the legal minds here talk. Good call. How about that? Thank you, Ms. Mabel Williams. We voted on it. If we have no further business, I'll take a
So,
motion
well,
to
just-
adjourn.
oh, well, let me just clarify one thing. So what we did here, we did not add any new bodies to
No.
the city.
No.
For the cost of $4,000 more to the general fund, we've just reclassified a couple positions, one that should save money through purchasing, and one that should add some money through grant writing.
Grant writing.
That's the sum of this, right?
Right, and in the general fund, we had some salaries that
Yeah,
came down with
right.
new hires, so
Right.
we're actually still ahead.
Okay,
in-
very
in
good.
all
That's good. Thank you.
that. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you all. Have a motion.
You almost made stuff.